Hello, welcome to another episode. We will be having this time since in the previous video we had everything from biology until botany. But this time we'll be moving forward into something that is personal, the human systems. Okay, so uh, if you remember in the previous video, I made mention of the hierarchy of life. Okay, so we are organisms, and every organism is composed of different organ systems. Like just like what I've mentioned, we are composed of a lot of systems that work together to form a function. They are grouped according to the processes within it that complete the whole the whole function of that specific system. So the human body is made up of complex systems that work together to maintain life and health. That is what we refer to as homeostasis. If homeostasis is balance in our body, then therefore we do not get sick easily. There are a lot of things to consider to maintain homeostasis, but it has to maintain the um, katong kuan sa imong body. It has to maintain every organ system must maintain its function, must do its function thoroughly. And that is alongside our lifestyle. Like our lifestyle, what we put into our body, as well as the conditions that we unsa na, subject our bodies into. Okay. So first system is the digestive system. Okay, that's very basic now. The digestive system looks into the food and the absorption of nutrients. So, in a general perspective, it falls down under two types of digestion. This is also similar to that in I mean in physics. We have what we refer to as the physical change and the chemical change. And that is the main basis for the distinguishing of the physical digestion to that of chemical digestion. Ang ilalang yung kalahian is that physical digestion is more of like the breaking down of food through grinding and chewing. So where does this happen? This happens in the mouth mainly. uh, Bali murag ginamix lang siya just like a blender. Like it breaks down the food that we eat into more digestible ones, like smaller ones, smaller things. Okay, so it becomes smaller, therefore physical digestion. But in the case that an enzyme or a chemical substance that is secreted by one of our glands in the body that aid in the digestion, if it adds enzymes into those food molecules to break it down further, then it becomes chemical digestion. So in the mouth, there are two processes that happen, both physical and chemical digestion. When we eat food, we grind it using our teeth, and then our mouth, I mean, our tongue would help in the mixing itself. Pero we have what we refer to as the salivary gland. The saliva that is secreted by the salivary glands has what we refer to as pyelin. This is an enzyme which helps in the breaking down of food. So we have it in here in the next slide. So these are some terms within the digestive system as alongside the parts as well. So again, the saliva is a watery fluid. It moistens the food and begins chemical digestion. So chemical digestion happens in the mouth because of that enzyme containing pyelin, the second term. This breaks down starch in the food into maltose. It happens in the mouth. Therefore, both the physical and the chemical digestion happens in the mouth. Okay. Now, if we swallow the food, there is this rhythmic wave like muscle contraction in order for the food to arrive into its location. This is very observable in the digestive tract, like from the from the mouth to the stomach, kanang esophagus. Peristalsis is evident here, as well as in the intestines. Like, yun sa pagdagan sa atong food throughout the intestine. Like, if it is a tube, how does the food travel? Like, is it only the villi inside the intestines, or is there a contraction that pushes the food forward? So the answer here is peristalsis. Ang kaning peristalsis is evident from the mouth to the stomach through the esophagus, and then we have later on the connection between the stomach to the small intestines called the duodenum, the ileum, perineum, ano siya, until it connects into the large intestine as well. All of these would require peristalsis or the peristaltic movement. Now, this is what I've mentioned just moments ago. The villi. Villi is a plural term for villus. These are finger-like projections in the small intestines that absorb the nutrients. So these fingers, after digestion mo good, still happens within the small intestine. So when peristalsis happens, it makes the food enter through kanang murag contracted state, like murag kag like when you want to kanang palabason nimo ang liquid from a straw, you will have to push the straw, you have to pinch the straw and push it out. That is how peristalsis happens. So ingon na siya, so mapisat pa siya, and at the same time there is the absorption of the nutrients. That is the role of the small intestine. Large intestine would focus on the water and the salts. Okay, so another term I'd like to mention is the chyme. So after the digestion in the stomach, both in the stomach mo it's more like a bowl, because the enzymes that are secreted by the pancreas, the gallbladder, and the liver, and even those of the stomach itself, they are all mixed inside. Ginamix siya mix siya alongside our food to break it down into finer substances. And that's called the chyme. So here are the parts, no? So from the beginning until the end, the mouth, and then the pharynx. The pharynx, remember nito, so ingon ako, phloem. If ang start, therefore it is for food. Phloem for plants, pharynx for humans. Okay, so ang kaning pharynx is the passageway for food from mouth to esophagus, and this helps in the swallowing. And then we have the esophagus, which is the muscular tube that moves food to the stomach via peristalsis. And then we have the stomach. This stores food. It secretes gastric juice. We have pepsin, one of the components of gastric juice. We have pepsin and the hydrochloric acid. And the hydrochloric acid is what causes us to have ulcer if we do not take in anything. No? See. So to break down proteins into peptides, the proteins from the mouth through the katong sa maltose, which was mentioned a while ago, through the mixing of the saliva, it helps as well in the turning of the food into the chyme. So daghan kayo og mga from the gallbladder, from the liver, from the stomach and the pancreas. All of these would secrete some enzymes to break down food. And the small intestine is the major site of digestion and nutrient absorption, since it has the villi, which I have mentioned a while ago. So they increase surface area, and the enzymes from the pancreas and intestinal lining complete the digestion. The large intestine, also called the colon, absorbs the water and the salts, just like what I've mentioned. And it compacts, meaning kung sa kuan pag ginahulman niya ang fecal matter, the undigested material, into what we know as the feces. Kanang everything that we excrete nga hard is feces. So the rectum is the last part of the large intestine, and it is in here where feces are stored until they are eliminated or excreted by the anus. And just for you to remember, any opening in our body that is being controlled is controlled by what we refer to as the sphincter muscles. For example, at the end of the stomach, ma-question ninyo no, anong ang kuan, if the stomach goes down into the small intestine, nganong dili mo diretso ang ato ang food while grinding, nganong dili siya madnaog diretso sa kuan, di siya manaog diretso sa small intestine. It is because the opening kanang sa duodenum nga area, the opening from the stomach towards the small intestine would be closed during that time of digestion. So if there would be some liquids nga murag mo labas dira, it's just very few. So it is controlled by sphincter muscle. Another is for males kanang tawag ini the prostate. The prostate is another sphincter muscles which control the opening. Another, this is for a general perspective. Um, at the bottom part of the bladder, kanang manghi ka kanang sa kuan, unsa nang bisaya pantog. Kanang before ka murag mapuno na siya, it does not flow out because there is a sphincter muscle that closes the opening that is voluntarily controlled and consciously controlled by the human being. So, if you try to hold your pee, like, dili pa ka manghihi, wala pa ka nakaabot og balay, or wala pa ka sa CR, then the sphincter muscle is the one that you're controlling. So, dili na siya mulabas unless you allow it. So, ano siya? It's, again, the sphincter muscles. Questions? Like question, no? So, just send, you may comment. Comment. See, pag-comment lang mo sa video if you find it. I mean, you find something below. You find something to ask. Okay, next one, the circulatory system. The circulatory system transports blood from the heart to the lungs to oxygenate blood, then to other parts of the body. Now, my question. If its main function is to transport the blood, then what creates the blood? Sige. What creates the blood? Heart? Dili. No, the circulatory system is merely for circulation. So, dili siya naga-create og blood. Magtuyok-tuyok lang gina siya. Its main organ is the heart, and the other the other vessels are called the veins, kanang the blue ones in the picture. The veins, and then the artery, ang red, and the capillaries are the tiny ones where the vein and the artery meet. And usually, ang kaning capillaries are connected to the body organs. So the heart is a central organ that pumps blood throughout the body, and the veins are the passageway of blood back to the heart. So pabalik sa heart, gikan sa mga body organs, gikan sa mga capillaries, mo ng color blue. And the arteries are the passageway of blood away from the heart. So there is a difference in terms of the blood that they carry. So ang kanang mga vein, they carry deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated, meaning wala na oxygen. So it's dark blood. That's why if you have a blood kanang bloodletting, like kuan ka og dugo, diba ugat ang pangitaon? Because, and then when you look at the blood, it's dark red because it does not have oxygen. Ano siya? The oxygen, uh, when mixed with blood, it creates what we refer to as hemoglobin to make the blood bright red in color. If blood is bright red in color, therefore, it has oxygen. It is oxygenated. Pero kung wala na siya oxygen, it's deoxygenated. Lagom na siya og color. So, mao na siya. So, what makes up our blood? There are four major components of the blood. We have the red blood cells. If you watch Cells at Work, red blood cells carry oxygen. Yes. And then for white blood cells, they are for
elimination
of bacteria and other bodies that are foreign from kuan. So, mo na siya, white blood cells, mo na tong katong, they eliminate, they kill the foreign substances that could prove to be harmful to the humans. And for every part that is opened or wounded, we have the platelets. If you watch the cute platelets sa cells at work, ang platelets would create a scab mo ng naay murag kanang mga peklat-peklat ninyo that is because of the work of the platelets. Pero all of these are solid. What makes them liquid in form is the plasma. So all of these cells, kang red, white nga blood cells, and the platelets, they are embedded in a liquid called the plasma. It's a transparent liquid. Pero because of the kadaghanon sa red and white blood cells in it, ang kuan, ang plasma ay the blood is red. Pero in truth, if you look at dinuguan, if you like dinuguan, when you cook dinuguan is it hardens. Nagharden na nagkumpul-kumpul ang mga dugo. Ana. Pero in truth, they are individually kanang it's not as a whole. It's separated. It just flows freely through the plasma. Okay, and this is what I've mentioned a while ago, katong hemoglobin, the red protein found in red blood cells that carries oxygen from the lungs to body tissues and transports some carbon dioxide back to the lungs, which gives blood its red color. So red ang blood because of hemoglobin. Ang kalahiyaan lang gyud if bright red meaning na oxygen. If dark red, therefore it is deoxygenated. Okay, next we have this term. How do you read this? That is the aorta. So the aorta is the largest artery in the body, meaning that every blood that comes from the heart is pumped directly in the aorta. Ang kaning aorta is the main source of the blood from the heart, and it is connected from the heart's left ventricle. So there are four chambers of the heart. We have ang nasa taas nga duha ka chamber are called the atrium. We have the left and the right atrium. Sa baba niya another two chambers, a pair of chambers called the ventricles. Ventricle sa baba, atrium ang nasa taas. So therefore, since the aorta is connected to the left ventricle, therefore it is in the lower left side of the heart. That is where the aorta is connected to. So when blood is being pumped from the heart, it automatically goes into the aorta because the artery, again, the function of the artery is to carry oxygenated blood from the heart. And then the vena cava, these are the largest vein. Duha ka buok atong vena cava. If so for arteries, there's only one large artery which is called the aorta. Ang veins, there are two. We have one which comes from the upper part of the body, everything from from the heart going up, that will now include your arms and the brain, that is covered by the superior vena cava. So, from the heart going up, kanang padulong sa atong mga arms, sa neck, sa brain, that is that is being led by the superior vena cava. And from the heart going down, that is that is through the inferior vena cava. Ang kaning vena cava again is the largest vein. Largest vein, vena cava. Vena, vein. For artery, aorta. Aorta, aorta, aorta. See. Now, this is the last one which I've mentioned. And I mentioned naman ako ba? Sige, so the capillaries are the smallest blood vessels in the body which connects the arteries and the veins, and they allow for the exchange of oxygen. Therefore, ang kaning kuan, capillaries, are what connects the heart to the lungs. Diba? There is ang atong circulatory system has many functions. I mean, many systemic functions. First one is for the pulmonary function. Pulmonary meaning it connects the heart to the lungs. 'Di ba? The bright red blood carries oxygen. Pero where does oxygen come from? It comes from the respiratory system. Ang katong the smallest tubes of air found in the lungs, that is what we refer to as the alveoli, the alveolus if isa, kung dagan alveoli, they are connected through capillaries into the heart. So small nga mga ugat which links the uh, lungs, the alveoli specifically, to the heart. Okay, so ginadala niya ang oxygen into the heart. But of course, the blood is what carries it into the heart. That is a pulmonary function. And later on, we have the autonomic function wherein the blood is pumped into the rest of the body because all our body parts would require oxygen for it to function. Okay. And then it has very thin walls, one cell thick to facilitate diffusion. Kanang mga namoy barikos nga murag gagmatoy kayo nga ugat, they are capillaries. Ano siya? So they facilitate diffusion. So ng diffusion gani katungkuan. What's the difference between diffusion and osmosis? The difference is that diffusion is it does not require a semi-permeable membrane in order for something to be delivered throughout the different parts of the body because the capillaries are very thin, then therefore diffusion could happen uh, without requiring the blood to be passing through a semi-permeable membrane. Sige. Now, we have the next system, the respiratory system, which I've already introduced in the previous system because their functions are interrelated. So, the main function of the respiratory system is that it is responsible for gas exchange, bringing oxygen into the body and removing carbon dioxide. So, here are its major organs. We have the nose, which is divided into by the septum. If ang katong sphincter muscle a while ago is used for the controlling of an opening, ang kaning septum is what divides any cavity. For example, our nasal cavity, kaning the space where we exhale air kang atong nose, it is divided in the middle by the septum. Our heart also, diba, our heart, just like what I've mentioned a while ago, is composed of the left and the right hemisphere. Kung nasa left, na isa ka atrium sa taas, na ipoy isa ka ventricle sa baba. Right? The same. Atrium, ventricle. Pero both sides do not directly the blood that comes into the right ventricle does not mix with that of the left ventricle because it is divided, the heart is divided by a septum. Muna siya. That's the role of a septum. Anything within the body that is divided by a certain something, like any organ that is divided into two by a wall, that wall automatically is called as a septum. septum. Septum na siya. So, from the nose to the nasal cavity to the larynx. Unsa ganina ang sa for food? Pharynx. Pharynx, food. Phloem, food. Now, this time larynx. The larynx connects the nasal cavity into the trachea. Okay? And then the trachea connects the larynx to the lungs, which is composed of the bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli, and the diaphragm, which is the muscle which contracts or expands to help you in your breathing. So we have two major processes in respiratory terms. We have inhalation, wherein air enters the lungs and the oxygen goes into the blood. So when you do that, is not just letting air inside our lungs, but also that is how fast the process is for the oxygen to be delivered into the alveoli. That is inhalation. In, pasabot, pasulod. And then exhalation, letting out. The carbon dioxide is expelled from the body because our body, we are humans. Any being that is living has carbon as part of our genetic makeup. Any living organism has carbon in it. That is what you should remember. Living organisms have carbon. So if carbon is mixed with oxygen, two kuan, oxygen nga two oxygen atoms plus one carbon carbon nga atom, therefore CO2, that is carbon dioxide, duha ka oxide. And that is the molecule that we exhale because where does the carbon come from? It comes from us as humans. We excrete, just like mga mga sakyanan sa naitambutso para ilabas niya ang the burning. After there is a burning of anything like a digestion, a chemical change that happens within the body, there will always be carbon that will be emitted, and the carbon is released alongside two molecules of oxygen, therefore carbon dioxide. And then we have the nose or nasal cavity. It filters what is used for the filtering of the air. Mo na siyang inyuhang nose hair. Okay, the nose hair, it warms, it moistens the air, and it filters the air. So anything that is trapped in its filter would become the mucus. Mo na siyang when you wake up, you clean your nose, there are some hardened parts. Kana siya, the mucus is the result of the filtering. Okay, and then the pharynx, passageway for air to reach the larynx. And then we have the larynx, which contains the vocal cords, the vocal flap, which enables you to speak. And then the trachea, or the windpipe. This is a tube that carries air to the bronchi, and this is lined with cilia and mucus to trap particles. What other part of the body has the cilia, especially the digestive tract? It is the small intestines. Ay, villi dito, sorry. The cilia is the hair. Sorry, I forgot. The hair in your nose is the cilia. Pero the villi is for the digestive tract, sorry. And the mucus to trap particles. So ang mucus goes up in order for it to be expelled through the opening in the nose. And then we have the bronchi and the bronchioles. They are the branching tubes that carry air into each lung, into the edge of each lung, wherein we could find the alveoli. The alveoli are the tiny air sacs where oxygen diffuses into the blood and carbon dioxide diffuses out. So from the heart and the different organs of the body, ang capillaries would carry the deoxygenated blood and some carbon dioxide in order for it to be excreted using the respiratory system. And then we have the diaphragm. The diaphragm is just a muscle. It's not a span of air. But this is what divides the lungs with the digestive tract in your abdomen. So it expands or contracts in order to aid in your breathing. Manang budako or mogamay imong tiyan if you inhale or exhale tawag ini, because of the diaphragm. Questions? Sige, wala. Okay, next. We have the endocrine system. The endocrine system regulates body temperature, metabolism, development, and maintains homeostasis through chemical signals or hormones through the bloodstream. Now, if you look at the picture in here, is there any tube that is in just for the endocrine glands purpose? Di ba wala? Wala. So, meaning, Ana, is the only way for all of these glands to function all together, because although interrelated siya, pero they do not have their own passageway kung asa moagi ang ilang mga ginasecrete nga chemicals or hormones. We call them hormones. So, they just mix it with our blood, pero it's so amazing how ang katong nga mga parts, I mean nga mga hormones, knows where to go. Ano no? So amazing. And each of the gland, they are called the glands. So each of the glands have different functions, and male and female humans have differing reproductive glands. Pero the rest of the parts, we all have it except the one nga nasa reproductive nga part. So that's what differs the male from the female. But besides that, it's the same. So here are the endocrine system. We have the pituitary gland. This is the master gland and controls the other glands and regulates the growth of the body. So kung dili na ka mutangkad, therefore the pituitary gland no longer kanang gave signal to your body to grow. So ano siya? That is the function of the pituitary gland. And it is the brain of all the glands. It controls all the other glands in the body. Then you have the thyroid gland. This is a gland in the neck that regulates metabolism, like kanang kapaspason nimo mo digest and mo absorb og food. That is an uh, an involuntary and unconscious nga process. It happens without us knowing, and what controls it is the lower part of the brain and the thyroid gland. And then embedded in the thyroid gland, there are four dots dinhaa sa liog nimo that is attached to the thyroid gland. That is called the parathyroid gland. This is a gland within the thyroid gland that maintains calcium balance. Okay, that's a function of the parathyroid. And then you have the adrenal glands. They produce stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol. They are sitting at the top of your kidneys. Mao na siya ang adrenal gland. Okay, so kanang adrenaline rush ninyo, it is from the adrenal gland which are sitting on top of the kidney. And it is so potent, it's so powerful ang kaning adrenaline. Like if the rest of the body already has failed, like you could have been dead, pero the adrenaline could still keep you alive until such time when adrenaline is no longer released. Mo nang in movies, it's actually credible nga, like there are especially those mga mothers, mothers man good especially, or parents na lang in general. Like the mother or the parent was able to deliver the child to the hospital, naggadagan pa gani siya, no? Like for example, there was one movie or one YouTube video wherein both the mother and the son were kanang victims of, I think, falling debris. Murag natagakan sila duha og mga bato from a building due to an earthquake, I guess. So what happened is that the mother was still strong enough to deliver the child dito sa hospital. And when she knew that the child is already fine, like murag nakuan na niya nga nanay nitabang sa iyang child, the mother died. The what kept that person alive is adrenaline. The adrenaline rush. Again, it is strong enough to keep us alive. Pero if the adrenaline stops, like hunungo na siya kay because kinahanglan mo siya og fast na heart rate. There are some conditions that should be um achieved in order for the adrenal gland to release adrenaline. Like wa na ka nakulbaan or ning slow na imong heartbeat, meaning di na pod maghatag og adrenaline ang imong adrenal gland. That is why the body could succumb into its own kuan. Unsa ni? Bali this is the fight or flight nga kuan. The fight mode I mean. Okay. And then we have the pancreas. This is uh, something that you've already heard during the digestive system discussion. It produces insulin and glucagon to regulate blood sugar. The diabetes actually, one of its main causes is that the insulin that is being secreted into the stomach would no longer become potent if you keep on eating. Like later on, if sige ra kag kaon walay control, like the spiking of the insulin just goes up, 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 and then ang ending is ma-immune na imong lawas sa insulin. Therefore, it you enter into a diabetic state. That is why it needs more insulin or more glucagon for the regulation of the blood sugar. Then you have the thymus. This is a gland behind the sternum. Sternum, diri sa ato ang rib cage na area, which produces the T lymphocytes or the T cells, which are crucial for the immune system. Okay, they produce the T cells. One example of a something from the lymphatic system, which we'll be discussing later on as well. And then we have the gonads, the ovaries for females and the testes for the males. So they are glands that produce sex hormones for reproduction. Okay, the ovary for the egg cell, the testes for the sperm cells. And then we have last one. Last one na ba ni? Oh, di pa di ay. So we have the pineal gland. The pineal gland is a small pea-shaped gland in the brain that produces melatonin, which is a hormone that regulates the sleep wake cycles, your circadian rhythm. So this is what we refer to as the biological clock. Like for example, kung naana jud ka mo matawag alas 7 sa buntag, your body would wake you up no matter how long how early or how late you slept at night. You will really wake up at 7 a.m. because that is what activates during that time. And the last one for the endocrine system is the hypothalamus. This is a small region of the brain located below the thalamus that controls the pituitary gland. So, na-control gyapon ng pituitary gland. There is something that takes care of the pituitary gland and regulates the homeostasis, including the hunger, the thirst, the body, the temperature, sleep, and emotions. Okay, it's the lower part of the brain, already directly connected into the brainstem. It's part of the brainstem. Okay, so diri anata. So the reproductive system. So the system responsible for the producing of gametes, the sperm and the eggs, and enabling reproduction to create an offspring. So we have different builds for DPS and sub DPS. The male and the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system. So for this is for males. So they have testes or the testicle, which produces the sperm and the testosterone that is found hanging below through the scrotum. And then we have the epididymis. It stores and matures the sperm. It's already found near the asan to? Yeah, near the testicle on top of it. And then the vas deferens, this is a tube that transports the sperm from the testes to the urethra. Urethra is the passageway going out of the body. Both the male and the female have urethra. And then the penis, which delivers the sperm during coitus, and the accessory glands, including seminal vesicles, the prostate gland, and the bulbourethral glands. They produce the seminal fluid to nourish and transport the sperm. Okay, and it aids in kanang the sending out. Okay, and this is for the females. Okay, we have the ovaries. They produce the eggs or the ovum or the ova, that's a scientific term, and the hormones called estrogen and progesterone. In fact, ang kaning estrogen and progesterone is what mosquitoes smell. That is why females are more prone into being bit by mosquitoes because either one of these or both ba are kanang murag humot sa ilaha. That is why they bite females more. And fallopian tubes, these are tubes which transport the egg to the uterus. And the fallopian tube is also the site of fertilization. So this is where the sperm and the egg would meet. Pero later on, it goes down into the uterus. But there are some instances wherein um, the pregnancy itself would just be attaching the fallopian tube. And since the fallopian tube is not flexible, then it has to be removed. Yun, ang katong egg in there. It's called an ectopic pregnancy. No? Ectopic. And then we have the uterus. It houses and nourishes a developing fetus. The uterus is where the fertilized egg embeds itself in order to form the fetus. Then you have the vagina, which receives the sperm and also called the birth canal. Dira mo labas ang baby going out. And then the cervix, this is the narrow part of the uterus that connects it to the vagina. Pero of course, it's not for tawag ni for the penetration part. So it just has to be within the birth canal lang yun. Sige. Questions? Sige, wala na yung question. You're so silent today, Charing. Now, you have the nervous system. The nervous system is another system in the body. Can you imagine? Daghan kayo taog nerve ay og kanang systems pilit-pilit lang dikit-dikit ra sa tanan pero we still look human. We're able to function a lot of things. We are able to do a lot of things no matter how crazy our body makeups are. So you know the nervous system. This is the control part of our body. Like the brain controls almost everything. When I say almost everything, because there's also the spinal cord, which is for involuntary nga functions or reflexes as well. Spinal cord. So it has major divisions: the central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and the autonomic nervous system. Central is for the main control. Ay nadidria. It processes information and issues commands. It is the brain and the spinal cord. It issues commands. Central nerve, centro. So here are the parts of the brain now. First one is the cerebrum, the largest part of the brain that controls voluntary actions, thought, memory, sensory perception, reasoning, and emotions. They are all controlled by the cerebrum, and is divided into two spheres. We have the left and the right hemisphere of the cerebrum. Now, at the back part of the brain, we have the cerebellum. So it functions to coordinate balance, posture, and fine motor movements. In fact, ang kaning balance nato is ang iyadyung the reason we keep our balance is through liquids that are found in our inner ear. Ang inner ear na to has this organ called the cochlea connected into the cerebellum. This is where our balance takes place. So, ang kaning cochlea is for brain, tawag ini? The cochlea is for, I mean, it's related to balance because it contains liquids that maintain balance. So, now, you have the brain stem and the diencephalon. In the lower part of the brain that connects it into the spinal cord, we have the brain stem. It is composed of the midbrain, the pons, and the medulla oblongata. So all of these will control involuntary functions like the heartbeat, the breathing, and the digestion. So what happens if these brainstem is cut from the rest of the body? Automatically the heart stops, all the functions of the body would slow down until it stops because nothing is already controlling it. So that's how important it is ang brainstem. And then we have the diencephalon. It's the lower part of the brain that is very small. It's located between the cerebrum and the brainstem. It's composed of the thalamus, the hypothalamus, and the pineal gland. All of these are endocrine in its function. So its overall function is to be the relay and control center of the brain. So when information are being passed from one synapse to another axon, ano siya, like connect lang sa neurons in the brain, then therefore the one that controls and relays the information within the brain is the diencephalon area. And then we have the peripheral nervous system. It carries the signals to and from the body. So ang parts involved are the nerves that are outside, not part of the central nervous system. So we have two types. We have the sensory or the afferent nerves. They carry information to the central nervous system, pabalik. If for circulatory system, we have the veins. For nervous system, we have the sensory nerves. Like for example, when you touch something, like when you touch the face of your crush and then pangit siya og panit, you will have this sensation nga, gaspang na siya no, pero tanggap ko pa rin. Wala ko'y standards. Yun, na nga person. That therefore, the nerves which carries that information into your brain are the sensory or the afferent nerves, while the motor or the efferent nerves, they carry commands from the brain into the body parts, to the muscles and the glands. Like, if you want to control your hand, when you look at your hand, paliho ko doon ako kung kamot be, kung buhay pa ba ko, am I still alive? So, that is your brain controlling your hand. That is delivered to your hand na control through the efferent nerves. It's like the artery because it's from the control center into the body part. Therefore, efferent, sensory for delivering information to the brain. Like the sense of sight, there are some, what do you call those nerves from our eyes? Like, it delivers the information about what we see into the brain. They're called the, no, wala. Kabalo ang akong kauban re. The optic nerves. How about for the nose? Wala po siya kabalo. Patay. Sa may nag-skwela na to ani karon. We have the olfactory nerves. And for the ears,
Auditory.
auditory nerves. Correct. That is correct. Na kay 1 point to. And then we have the autonomic nervous system. This is what I've mentioned a while ago. This controls the involuntary activities. This could also include the other nerves, pero they are for involuntary functions. Anything that we do not directly control. Like, you do not say nga, sige, i-grind na ako akong tiyan, akong pagkaon dito, sige, mag-absorb na akong nutrients. No, we don't do that. We just, okay, what if you lose control, therefore it won't function. Like, for example, your heart, you are not the one who dictates na, daw pabiton na ako siya, be. Ako siyang papaspason og beat. Excuse me. Napil man day kuan. Napil og kanang record. Welcome to my sneezing, guys. This is my sneezing video. Sige. So there are two types of autonomic nervous system nerves. First one is a sympathetic and the other one is parasympathetic. So sympathetic, when you sympathize on something, therefore you feel for it. If someone wants to fight or someone wants to go away, like flight, this is this is this becomes something like an automatic function. So if you are scared or you want to go away, or yeah, kanang mga ingon ana nga function, the one that enables it is the sympathetic nervous system. So your brain would deliver information to the body in order for the heart to increase the heart rate. Like, mapaspas imo ang heartbeat. The more nga paspas imong heartbeat, the more that it delivers more oxygen to the different parts of the body for it to move. And at the same time is the more pud nga nag-require siya og oxygen. So, mopaspas imuhang kuan, imuhang paghinga because of this function. And then it also enables for the dilation of the pupils, meaning mas mudako ang katong the one that requires light to come into the eye, the pupils. So, mag-dilate yung pupil in order for you to see in the dark. And the inhibition of digestion, like dili ka gutomon kung you're scared. Ano siya. So that is the fight or flight function of the nervous system. Pero if it's normal, like how to normalize it, that is now the function of the parasympathetic nervous system. It promotes rest and digestion, and it slows down the heart rate and stimulates digestion and constricts pagamayon niya imuhang pupil. So no need for you to be very observant because you're in rest mode. Dugay pa mahuman ani oy. Sige, basa ha. Sige, walay question? Sige. Pero anyway, the skeletal system is for the support, protection, and shape of the body, and this works hand in hand with the muscular system to make us into look like the humans we are today. So, muna siya. So, its major functions is to support protection, for movement, for blood cell production all our blood cells are produced through something that is found inside the bones called the bone marrow. And then it also stores minerals, most specifically the calcium, the phosphorus. Oh, maura dito ang slide para sa kuan, skeletal. Kung ano, there is no control, there is no center of control for the skeletal system. It's just connected to the brain. Okay, and then we have the muscular system, the system of muscles in the body that enables movement, stability, and heat production. Pero everything you see in this picture are just the skeletal muscles. You should remember there are three types of muscles in our body. Later on na lang. So its major functions are for movement, posture and stability, heat production, circulation, and organ function. Because everything, every part of our body is composed of a muscle. So there are three types of muscles. Kaning imong makita in the picture, these are just the skeletal muscles. Every one of which are voluntary and attached to the bones through what we refer to as the ligaments. And that, I mean, the ligaments and the tendons. So, ginakonnect siya through the one. We could control it, we could make it bigger. That's why there are people who go to the gym that is to make it big. Skeletal muscles ang target ana. Pero, the heart as well is another muscle. It's called a cardiac muscle. These are involuntary and found in the heart. And then we have other muscles that are involuntary that are not the heart. So like the stomach, the intestines, the blood vessels, all of these are smooth muscles, still part of the muscular system. Now, the excretory system. The excretory system is not just limited to your kidney and the bladder area. Your skin as well is part of the excretory system. The lungs are part of the excretory system. Anything that excretes or nagpalabas of anything from the body, they are called the metabolic wastes that come from our maintaining of the homeostasis, the metabolism. So they could be like if water is being excreted like in the form of sweat kanang sington ka, that is a metabolic waste. If you pee, mangihi ka, that is still part of the metabolic waste. Kung if you do some defecation, mag-CR ka, therefore that is excretory gyapon nga function pero delivered by the digestive system. Ang katong sa skin, integumentary system. Ang katong sa air, respiratory system. All of these are excretory in its function. And then last one is for the cleaning of our blood, that is through the excretory system, that I mean through the kidneys. It's nadre as a picture in the duol sa tong likod, sa likod na siya sa ato ang tiyan. Pero yeah, it's na siya sa murag likod mo nang if you have kidney failure or something in your kidney that needs repair, magsakit imong likod kay naaman sa likod dapit imong kidney. So here are some terms. First one, the kidneys. They mainly function to remove urea, salts, and excess water, forming urine in our body. And then the ureters, which connect the kidneys to the bladder. And the bladder will later on store urine until excretion. Now, you may ask, asa tong katong na ay katong bato-bato nga kuan? Kita mo nang mag-init mo og takore sa takore, like at the bottom part of your takore, there are some white hardened na substance that could happen in the cold. Kaya di ba, gina-filter man ang salt, gina-filter ang urea from the blood. So all of these are mixed in the water. Mo nang mapundo siya as pee in the bladder. Now, what happens if the bladder becomes too full and then the sphincter muscle could not open? Mainly because nag-block na siya sa nalugdang. Okay, because it's a suspension. Like, if something is a suspension, it's like mixing something, pero if you stop moving, the mixture, like, mulugdang ang ubang particles. So, it could harden, mugahi na siya, that would cause kanang bato, kanang itawag lang bato. So it blocks the passageway. That is why you should never hold your pee. So as much as possible, if you believe that your bladder is almost full, then you have to empty it. And it is connected into the urethra. This is a tube that carries urine out of the body, whether through the male or the female excretory parts. And then we also have the skin through the sweat glands. They remove excess salts and water via sweat. And the lungs, which removes carbon dioxide as a waste product of respiration. So anything that lets out something is the kwan. Kato. Sa to. Basta kato. And then we have the integumentary system. Supposedly, I will be showing here a whole person, pero wala lang kay, wala lang. You know. Pero anyway, the integumentary system contains the largest organ of the body, which is the skin. Exactly, the skin. If it's external, like the whole body, the largest organ is the skin. But if it's internal, the largest organ is the, sure, uy, is the liver. Okay, so its main function is to protect the body, it regulates temperature, and is responsible for the sensation, excretion, and synthesis of the vitamin D. So its components are the skin, the hair, the nails, the sweat glands, and the sebaceous glands. Sebaceous glands for the oil, sweat glands for the sweat. Sige. And then last system that I will be introducing to you is the lymphatic system. So lymphatic system is one lesser known system pero its main function is to fight infections. Kanang imong mga lusay-lusay, kanang imong tonsil, kanang unsa pa na, oo, kanang mga, yeah, kanang mga lusay are actually what we refer to as lymph nodes. If your body is fighting an inflammation, muswell or muhubag ang imuhang mga kuan lymph nodes dito adapit sa naay infection. Like for example, kanang naay gina-fight nga infection in around the neck area mo nang natay bayuok kanang gipang bayuok dira that is actually the swelling of a lymph node. So your body, that those lymph nodes nga duol sa area of infection would activate. So they would be fighting against the infection. So here are the terms for the lymphatic system. The lymph is the one that carries the fluid that carries the white blood cells and removes waste from the tissues. In fact, it's connected to the circulatory system as well. And then we have the lymphatic vessels. These are another set of vessels that transport lymph throughout the body. Lymph is again for the fighting of foreign bodies that are harmful to the body. And then the lymph nodes, which filter the lymph and trap the pathogens. So, some pathogens, patho, if anything has the word path in it, patho, it's not path, it is path nga agianan per se, but it is your path to heaven. Like it could kill you because anything that is patho is related to sickness or disease. Like pathology is the study of disease. Pathogenesis is the study of how diseases came to be. So therefore, ang pathogens in here are anything that could make you sick that is a pathogen. And then we have the spleen, the largest organ in the lymphatic system. It filters the blood, it removes all the red blood cells, and produces immune cells. So it helps in the fighting of diseases. The tonsils, they protect against pathogens entering through the mouth and the throat. Mo nang sakit atong tonsil na kanang kung sa Bisaya pa gitonsil ang imong anak kung there are some pathogens, some disease carrying bacteria that enters your mouth, the tonsils would activate. And then the thymus, they mature the T cells for the immune response, meaning it stores the T cells and makes them mature so that when the time when their function is needed by the immune system, then therefore ilang mulabas. no? Sige. Wala pa man ko nahuman. Sige, okay. No questions. Sige, no choice. Sige, next. Salamat human na taog kuan kapoy na kog storya og body. Sige. We have ecology. Now, ecology is the study of the interaction between organisms and their environment. Therefore, katong sa biosphere na gaganina, like the ecosystem, I mean, the interaction between the living organisms and how they make use of the resources they have at hand, whether it's living or non-living things. We have here important terms. First one, the ecosystem, the a community of living organisms, meaning the biotic part, bio, alive, interacting with each other, and they're non-living or the abiotic, meaning not abiotic environment. So this refers to the soil, the water, the air, and the climate. What's the difference between a climate and the weather? Sige. Climate is long term, weather is daily. Like init karon nga adlaw, ug mainit imong ulo pero nag-ulan, therefore weather na siya. Duha ka weather. Weather this day, weather the next day. Pero in a long term, that is the climate. Okay, sige. Now, we look into ecology. So there are three types, which I've already mentioned na early on, katong in the previous video. We have producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers make their own food, also called autotrophs. Example ana niya is plants. Plants are the only kingdom nga maka-generate og their own food because they have exactly they have chlorophyll for photosynthesis and for those which plants nga underwater nga dili maabot og kuan they have another function which do not require the sun. It's called chemosynthesis. Sige. Sige. And then we have the consumers. Consumers obtain food from producers, or they either obtain food from producers or eat the producers themselves. That is heterotrophic na function. So it's of four types. We have herbivores, which eat plants, carnivores, which eat meat, omnivores, which eat both plants and meat, and then we have the scavengers which break them down. So they are also called decomposers. They are organisms that break down dead organisms, and they're also called saprophytes. So example of which are bacteria and fungi. Sige. Now, ecology. I mean this part of ecology. We have the abiotic components of an ecosystem. We have the sunlight, the temperature, water, wind, and the atmospheric gases. Can you imagine that ay madugay na atong video? Pero can you imagine that the Earth is actually composed of around 71% nitrogen and 20 76 71 76 di ay murag 76 okay. 76 78 78 kamo na lang Google no. Okay, that's just what I remember. 70 plus nga nitrogen and then 21% oxygen. Okay, and then the rest 1% is for the other gases. Okay, now ecology also looks into the relationship. So there are many relationships that happen. We have the short-term relationship and the long-term relationship. Short-term would include competition and predation. There are still others, but these are the most common. We have the competition and predation, and for the long-term, they are called symbiosis. Long-term. Okay, first one, competition. This is when two organisms fight for a limited resource like food or space or mates or light. Like for example, if there is a lion or a tiger in an area and then there's only a few food for them, like they are carnivores. So ang katungkuan gamay ra man ilang food, they have to fight each other kung kinsa ang makakaon, and that is called competition. Like in the classroom ninyo, na gusto ma-flat one, so di nila tagaan og answer ang bitaw, that is competition. The second one is predation. When you look at it in a perspective, it's not long term because the time when they fight for that resource, it's quite short. Like it could just happen in one day, pero it's considered as short term. So the competition lasts briefly. And then the predation, this is when one organism called the predator would hunt. Ang hunter is a predator and the one that could be eaten is the prey. So the prey, if they are eaten, that's the process of predation. It's natural and it controls population sizes and affects the balance of ecosystems. So lately, they're big because kuan, just to give you a recap, naatay ginatawag nga different ways where anything copes with predation para di sila kauna. Like for example, butterflies, there are butterflies that are poisonous, like the grand monarch butterfly, katong orange mga butterfly with the black something, that's a monarch butterfly. It's really poisonous for frogs or for anything that eats butterflies. Pero there's a less poisonous, di kayo poisonous, like it's an edible, not for humans ha. Basig butterfly na inyong paniod turon, butterfly jud mo. Sige. So there are some non-poison, lesser poisonous butterflies that could be ingested by some frogs. Pero because they want to live, what they do is they copy or imitate another poisonous butterfly. Like the viceroy butterfly. Ang Viceroy Padilla, charing. Viceroy butterfly, they look like grand monarch butterflies, pero they are not that poisonous. So what they do is they just mimic. That's called mimicry. No, other one is camouflaging. You already know what that is. Pero, uy, 1 hour na. Sige. Kapit na tama humaan. Then mag-science, mag-kuan na ta, mag earth, earth science ba to? Sige, anyway. Next one, the long-term nga relationships is called the symbiosis. This is a close and long-term biological interaction between two different species. We have three types: mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. Like, for example, look at this picture. This is mutualism. If it is mutualism, therefore, both parties mutually benefit each other. Like, for example, ang kaning koan, bee here needs its food, like it's the nectar that it drinks from the plants. Okay, mabusog siya. Pero at the same time, the yellow pollen of the plant would attach into the bee. So the bee would now deliver the pollen to another plant, kay para another flower to fertilize it. Yung ana ang fertilization among the plants itself. So, ano siya, share lang sila og pollen. So, therefore, both benefits. The flower benefits through pollination, the bee benefits because the flower could give the bee its food. Another is the remora. Kaning gagmay nga isda nga magsabay-sabay sa shark, they they could benefit in this relationship in two functions. First one is they are able to eat anything nga salin aning shark, and at the same time they are protected by other predators because the shark is scary. Now you may ask, kaunon ba sa shark ang remora? Yes, posible. So it's a matter of life and death. Basta di lang gid sila magpaduol dira sa baba nga area. Pero the shark eats other kuan aside from the remora as well. So buwis buhay pero nabubuhay ka. And the shark as well would get cleaned up. So malimpyuhan siya because of the remora. So it's a win-win solution. The shark is getting cleaned, and then at the same time the remora gets to eat and will have protection because of the shark. Another is commensalism. Commensalism is ang isa maka-benefit, ang isa wala naapektuhan. Like, okay, nonchalant lang po ako. For example, first one is the orchid, which is thriving in the branch of a plant. So, di niya ginakaon yung host. It does not affect the host in any way. So, it's just there. It's able to benefit from living in the branch of the plant. But at the same time, it does not harm the plant in any way. That is commensalism. Another is kaning na nasa dulo sa whale. These are called barnacles. Ang kaning barnacles, mupilit na siya maski asa. So, mupilit na siya sa whale. Therefore, it's able to live because it has to attach. It cannot truly swim. So, makaadto siya anywhere. So, musakay siya dara sa whales. It attaches itself in the whales. And the whale is not affected by it. Unless if napuno na gyud og barnacles ang whale, it could pull the whale downwards, like bugat ang good siya kadugayan. Pero if it's just a small uh, population like this, and therefore it's okay. And last one is parasitism. First one, kanina sagbot, that's called the mistletoe. Kanang sa Christmas good nga mistletoe, you kiss someone under the mistletoe. It's actually a parasite because this plant absorbs the nutrients of that branch, like musup-sup siya sa nutrients of that branch, and sometimes it kills the sumpay anang branch because it stops nutrients from being delivered into those parts. Therefore, that is parasitic. That's a mistletoe. Another is katong mosquitoes. Like it feeds on human blood, and then the humans could be harmed because mosquitoes carry diseases. Ano siya, so that is parasitism. Another, isa pa, when you are being nakay mga uyab sa gilag pangayo, pero bitaw, there is the parasite, the one which benefits, and the host, which is the one that is harmed. The host and the parasite. Sige. And that ends our topic. Salamat. That is for life sciences. Unta, nahinumduman to ninyo tanan. Dapat hinumduman to ninyo tanan. Kay mo labas to tanan sa atong exam. Good luck guys. Bye.